Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raguna Khanditam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanditamscha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschat Desatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today's topic is the spirit of Bhagavad Gita. So in our previous session we discussed about the qualification of a genuine guru, who a genuine guru is. So then we have to take shelter of such a genuine guru and learn all the Vedic scriptures. And among all the Vedic scriptures, Bhagavad Gita is most important. It is like the essence of all Vedic literature. If you understand Bhagavad Gita, you understand the essence of all Vedic literatures. Everything essential for our spiritual life is there in Bhagavad Gita. It is only 700 sloks, but everything is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. So today we will see what is the spirit of understanding Bhagavad Gita. This is not just a book. There is certain qualification also required to understand this book. So that we will see today. So what is Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavad means Bhagwan and Gita means Geet. So Bhagavad Gita means song of God. And then it is also said Srimad Bhagavad Gita. The word Srimad means beautiful. Beautiful song of God. That is Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita was spoken by who? Krishna. Where? In the battlefield of Kurukshetra. How many verses are there in Bhagavad Gita? 700. How many chapters are there in Bhagavad Gita? 18. Very good. So, this historical event took place in Kurukshetra before the battle of Mahabharata, where the Pandavas and Kauravas are stationed and they are about to fight. And that's when Krishna speaks this profound knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. This is a classic timeless wisdom of spiritual truth. Bhagavad Gita has been read by people since time immemorial, since centuries, and people, they've been read in the past, people are reading it now, and people for many generations to come will continue reading Bhagavad Gita. And the good thing about Bhagavad Gita is nothing changes. The verses, that 700 verses that Krishna has spoken, remains as it is. It doesn't change. And it is applicable in the past, it is applicable now, and it will be applicable even in the future. So this is knowledge, this is truth which doesn't change. Whereas whatever we learn keeps changing, Newer and newer technologies, newer and newer concepts, newer and newer theories, and it keeps changing, and unfortunately people have to keep themselves up to date with whatever the current information is. But this information is universal, eternal. It doesn't change. Because it is truth. Truth doesn't change. Falsity changes. You have to keep changing. But truth doesn't change. So that is Bhagavad Gita. So it has deeply influenced the minds of philosophers, theologians, educators, scientists and authors all over the world. There were so many scientists who used to read Bhagavad Gita. You know, Einstein used to read Bhagavad Gita. Mahabharata was compiled by... Who compiled Mahabharata? Vyasadeva. So Bhagavad Gita is part of Mahabharata. Right in the middle of Mahabharata comes Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna is speaking this knowledge to Arjuna. It is the essence of all Vedic knowledge, the most important Upanishads in Vedic literature. So in Mahabharata, actually, Bhagavad Gita comes in Bhishma Parva, chapter number 25 to 42. Yes, Palash. Not a single mistake. Not a single mistake. That's why it stays as it is for many, many, many generations to come. Because these are the words of God, and God is not like us. He doesn't make mistake. God doesn't make mistake. Yes, this book is as good as God. You can put it in mandir and do arti. It is as good as God Himself. Because words of God, hearing about God is not different from God Himself. So these are not ordinary books. These are sacred texts, Vedic scriptures. Okay, is Bhagavad Gita real or symbolic? It is real. It's a historical dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna. Why was it recorded? For the benefit of humanity. Because the instructions of Bhagavad Gita are applicable, as I said, universally for everyone, and it helps one to understand the purpose of life, who they are, who is God, what is the relationship with God, and ultimately to attain the perfection of life, which is to go back home, back to Godhead. Kurukshetra is a historical place that exists today also. So Bhagavad Gita is real. The place of Kurukshetra is also real. How many of you have been to Kurukshetra?
I haven't been, but passed from.
Yeah. So Kurukshetra is there, and there is a place called Jyotisar where exactly this was spoken, and it is being worshipped by people even today. And all the characters of Mahabharata are real, who truly existed. Scientists, based on their research, proved that a personality called Sri Krishna existed 5,000 years ago, and city of Dwarka also existed. Exhibits of excavations can be seen in museums of Dwarka and Kurukshetra. So Krishna was real. His city, Dwarka, is also real, and marine archaeologists have actually found out the walls and everything. And I think I also heard that Narendra Modi actually went in to take darshan, because this is the city of Lord Krishna. So one should not derive allegorical meanings. Now I'll tell you something. There are certain commentators who say Kurukshetra is like our body. So this book here is an allegory. Allegory means it's not real, but it's like an allegory. So it says that Kurukshetra is like our body. Krishna is a liberated soul. Arjuna is a conditioned soul. So he's asking questions like that. But that is not true. This is allegorical meaning. This is not how the meaning is. Actually, Bhagavad Gita was spoken by the Supreme Lord, and Arjuna, Krishna, all the characters of Mahabharata existed, Kurukshetra exists. So it's not an allegory. Is Bhagavad Gita mythology or historical account? It's an historical account. It's not mythology. Mythology means myth. What is the meaning of myth? Myth means it's not true. It's not true. So this word, mythology, was actually, there is a whole history about this. When Britishers came to India, they saw that this country, there is not a single poor person here. Not poor in the sense that he doesn't have wealth, but their faith in God was so high that you could not control them. So Britishers wanted to invade and control the whole country of India. And they were thinking how to do it. Because these Indians, they are not going to be, because they had tremendous faith. And so they realized that their faith in scriptures is very high. The only way you can control these people is if some of the Britishers learn Sanskrit and then tell them how your scriptures is all fake, it's all fiction stories and it's all mythology. So, Hindu mythology was coined by Indologists who wanted to divert the sincere Vedic followers away from their own religion to Christianity. So, what did they do? They said, this is all mythology, this is not real. So what happened? Generations, today's generation has very strong faith in Bhagavad Gita. They will not listen. But the next generation, they'll feel doubtful. The third generation will feel even more doubtful. And gradually, over generations, this knowledge would be gone. And then there'll be a generation where they will think, all this is just mythology. We don't have to believe. This Ramayana, Mahabharata, this is all fake stories or fiction stories written by some, creative person. But it has no truth. Like this, it was all propagated to remove Hinduism, to remove Sanatan Dharma and bring Christianity and to basically control the whole country. This is how it has happened. There was a person called Max Muller. He actually learned Sanskrit and gave his own interpretations of Sanskrit text and diverted the whole message. So it's not mythology. Even today, if you go to any bookstore, if you want to learn, if you say, do you sell Bhagavad Gita or do you sell books related to religion or spirituality, they'll say, yes, please go to the mythological section. So this whole concept is that all these things is mythology. It's all myth. When this is not myth, it's an historical account. This has happened, and all histories has been written. That's why our Vedic scriptures are said Puranas. Puranas means old histories, but written by somebody. Modern scholars take Puranas and Vedic histories as mythology, imagination. Puranas means old history. So if you read Puranas, you will read accounts of events taken place in different parts of universe, not just on this planet Earth. So these are all histories. These are not just, fiction stories or mythology. Ramayana and Mahabharata are real histories that took place and were carefully recorded. And Bhagavad Gita also is a historical event that took place at Jyotisar Kurukshetra, which is worshipped by millions even today. What is the purpose? What is this purpose or goal of Bhagavad Gita? What do you think is the goal of Bhagavad Gita? Yes. To deliver, so one is to teach, but main is to deliver mankind from ignorance. People in general are in ignorance. They don't know what the truth is. So, Bhagavad Gita is meant to deliver mankind from ignorance. Everybody is in difficulty. Arjuna was also in difficulty, right? He was in difficulty when he had to fight the war, and so he accepted the guidance of a spiritual master, Krishna, and asked questions. And then Krishna, through Bhagavad Gita, got him out of ignorance. Before he was ignorant, what is my duty? Should I fight or not? But after speaking Bhagavad Gita, Krishna got him out of ignorance and situated him in its actual constitutional position as a servant of the Supreme Lord. So that is the purpose. Second is to revive eternal relationship of love between each soul and God. We are all part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Supreme Lord, and we have forgotten our relationship with Him. So through Bhagavad Gita, we understand who we are, we understand who is God, and we understand what is our relationship with God. So this is the second purpose. But Bhagavad Gita is such a wonderful book that you can derive many more purposes from it. But the real purpose is this, to help you get out of ignorance so you can attain your the true purpose for human form of life. Why should one try to understand the Bhagavad Gita? One is the human form of life is very, very special. If in the human form of life you don't understand Bhagavad Gita, then in which form of life will you understand Bhagavad Gita? Right? So we are all human beings, and it is our prime duty to understand what is Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, what are the four common activities between animals and humans? Eating, sleeping, and defending. What is difference between humans and animals? No. Animals also have intelligence. They have some animals have much better intelligence than human beings. Animals can also do vichar. They can also think. So what is that one characteristic which differentiates human beings from animals? Chanting, bhakti, Krishna consciousness. Yeah. So what differentiates is bhakti, understanding who is God, who am I, what is my relationship, what is this world, where did I come from, what will happen to me after death. All these questions only a animal can ask. Only a human can ask. I just wanted to see how many picks it up. So this question only a human being will ask, not animal. So that's why we have to understand Bhagavad Gita. If we don't understand Bhagavad Gita, then what happens to us? We just become an animal. Then make permanent solution to the suffering in this world. In the world, so sufferings in the world. Do we all agree that we are all suffering? What is the suffering that we are suffering from? Yeah, what were the problems that we discussed? Real problems of life? Death. Yes. Okay, and then there were three other problems we discussed. Remember? No, we're talking about problems. What was the other sufferings? Wars. Yeah, but there was three categories. Remember? Adhyatmika klesha. What was that? Adi bhautika and? Yes. Yes. So adhyatmic means misery is caused by one's own body, mind and senses. Adi bhautika means misery is caused by other living entities. And Adi Daivika means? Yes. Misery is caused by demigods, higher beings, caused by nature, basically. And third, those who begin to question their sufferings, where they came from and where they shall go, are proper students of Bhagavad Gita. So, this is the prerequisite for understanding Bhagavad Gita. One must be inquisitive, that why am I suffering? What have I done wrong that all these things are coming to me by force? Is there a solution to this? Only a person who questions this is a proper student of Bhagavad Gita. That doesn't mean others will not understand, but one who has come to that stage of inquisitiveness will be able to really benefit from Bhagavad Gita. How should one understand the Bhagavad Gita? How? So one should accept it as it is in total. Sometimes, people say, I like this particular instruction of Bhagavad Gita, this is nice. But this particular instruction, I don't like this. This I cannot follow. So I'm only going to follow what I like. Or it is suitable to me, yeah. This is not good. We should accept Bhagavad Gita in total, as it is in total. So there is a saying, it's called Ardha Kukuti Nyaya. Ardha Kukuti Nyaya. That means there is a hen which gives golden eggs. So the man who has this hen, he likes the back part of the hen because the back part of the hen gives golden eggs. But he doesn't like the front part of the hen because you have to feed. It's costing him money. So what he did, he cut the hen into two parts. He cut the hen into two parts. And the golden eggs stopped. So the same thing happens. If you want to benefit, we have to take everything in total, Bhagavad Gita. So Sagurya Dharam, yes, correct. Sagurya Dharam. Sagurya Dharam nahi chale. Agar Bhagavad Gita samajh bhi hai, so you have to take as it is, in total, fully. Then accept it as true historical event, not mythology. This we discussed. We should accept, we should not think that this is some story. We should understand this is a real event that has happened and God actually spoke this profound knowledge to Arjuna. Accept Lord Krishna, the speaker of Bhagavad Gita, as God. Like even theoretically at least we should accept that Krishna is not just some ordinary human being or extraordinary human being. He is the Supreme Lord. That means he cannot make mistake. Whatever his words are, it is correct. And I just have to have full faith and apply it in my life. Understand it in the spirit of devotion. This point we'll discuss a bit more later about the spirit of devotion. If you have a jar of honey, it's a transparent jar without any labels, a transparent jar of honey. If you lick the jar, will you taste honey? You cannot, right? You have to open the jar, take the honey and taste it. Similarly, trying to understand Bhagavad Gita without devotion to Lord Krishna is trying to taste honey by licking the jar. You get the analogy? So without devotion, it is going to be very difficult to understand what Bhagavad Gita is. To the extent one has devotion to the Lord, to that extent he or she will be able to understand Bhagavad Gita. What are the subject matters discussed in Bhagavad Gita? Ishvara means God. Jiva, ourselves, spirit, soul. Karma, the law of karma and the fruitive activities that we do. Prakriti, material nature, and Kala, time. So if we understand these 5 subject matters, we understand Bhagavad Gita. Like we get a good understanding of Bhagavad Gita. These are the subject matters of Bhagavad Gita. So out of these 5, we have discussed Ishvara, who is God. We have discussed Jiva, who we are. We have discussed Karma. We have discussed Prakriti, material nature. And we have discussed Kala. We have discussed, but very briefly, because there is not much about time given in, except that Krishna says, Kalosmi, I am time, the destroyer of this world. From whom should one understand Bhagavad Gita? From Guru. So this is about the qualification of a Guru. What are the qualifications of a Guru? We discussed this last time, in the last session. So to briefly go over it, must be in disciplic succession, deliver the message as it is, must have realized the conclusions of scriptures, must practice what he preaches, must be fixed in devotional service to the Lord. His senses must be fully controlled. And he must see all the living entities with equal vision. So in short, these are the qualifications of a Guru. From such a bona fide Guru, one must try to understand Bhagavad Gita. Who can understand Bhagavad Gita? So this question is basically referring to the qualifications of a disciple. Qualifications of a disciple. What qualification a disciple must have to understand Bhagavad Gita? But this topic so our next topic is this one, qualification of a disciple, where I'll discuss all the different aspects in detail. One is inquisitive. What is inquisitive? Curious. Then must approach a bona fide spiritual master. So being inquisitive is not enough. Must also approach a bona fide spiritual master. Bona fide means genuine or true Guru. It's just another word for genuine. Okay?
When we started this slide, we said that even many scientists and many other personalities have read the Bhagavad Gita.
They've read.
They have read it, but they have also some of them may have classified it as a myth also. So does that mean that they haven't understood it correctly in spite of reading it? Because those people, like you gave an example of the Britishers,
Yeah.
so the people who may have read it, they may have also classified it even after reading it
Yes.
as it's just a myth.
Yes.
Yeah. So that is not the true meaning of understanding the Bhagavad Gita.
Yes, because they were trying to understand Bhagavad Gita on their own strength. When the first requirement of understanding Bhagavad Gita is you have to have a bona fide Guru. Marx Miller or this Indologist didn't have a Guru. And the purpose was also not to understand Bhagavad Gita. The purpose was to understand whatever they can and change the meaning. The whole intention itself is wrong. So they will not get it. Even now, even if all of us try to understand Bhagavad Gita on our own strength, we may get something here and there. But that may not necessarily be the message that Krishna wants to give you. Remember the example of elephant and the 6 blind men? Remember? So they were trying to understand the elephant on their own strength. So one person caught the tail of the elephant and he thought this is a rope. One person caught the leg of elephant and he thought this is a trunk of a tree. Our position is also like that. But Guru or Krishna is a person who is able to see the whole elephant in totality. And so he can tell us this is an elephant. This is not a rope. This is not a trunk of a tree. This is an elephant. That's why approaching a bona fide Guru is so important. So Guru is a representative of the Lord. And only he can give you the whole picture. That's why disciplic succession, parampara is so very important. Inquire submissively and hear attentively. This is another requirement of a disciple is he must hear attentively and inquire submissively. It's very important. To inquire, to ask questions is good. But the mood is to understand, not to challenge the speaker. Oh, I know better than you. If that challenging, even if the right answer is given, it will not sink into the heart. Why? Because the heart is not in a proper situation to receive the answer. So hearing attentively and inquiring submissively. Very important. Then render service to Guru. So, in the past, uh, children, of Palash's age and Victor's age, they will go to Gurukul. And they will live in Gurukul and they will live with Guru for next 20 years. And they will serve Guru. So there's a verse in Bhagavad Gita, Tad vidhi paripatena pariprasnina sevya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshina. One must approach a bona fide Guru, hear from him submissively, hear from him attentively and inquire submissively, and render services to Guru. These three things are the duties of a disciple. So one has to render service to Guru. Then must have full faith in Guru. So whatever Guru is saying, he must have full faith in the words of Guru. If there is doubt whether this man, whatever he is saying, is correct or not, then there will be problem. But blind, it's not that we are encouraging blind following. Doubt is good. Doubt is good. That okay, I'm not sure whether what you are saying is correct or not. But how do you verify it? What is the way to verify? Through Shastra. So you read Bhagavad Gita and you cross-check what the Guru is saying is exactly as per Shastra or not. Remember Guru, Shastra, Sadhu checkpoint? So doubts are good. It's not that we are encouraging blind following. But it has to be. So once the doubt is there, it has to be clarified through Guru, Shastra, Sadhu. Clear. Then devotee of the Lord. He must be a devotee of the Lord. He must have some devotion to the Lord. Okay, so this is the last slide where I want to discuss the spirit of Bhagavad Gita. Only one who has taken up Bhagavad Gita in the spirit of devotion will be able to understand Bhagavad Gita. So there is a nice story. You see this picture here? There was an illiterate Brahmana, South Indian Brahmana. He did not know how to read. His guru ordered him that every day you must read Bhagavad Gita. Every day you must read Bhagavad Gita. So this man, he would go to a temple and every day he would read Bhagavad Gita. Sometimes he would be holding the Bhagavad Gita upside down because he doesn't know how to read, right? So he doesn't even know whether am I holding it correct or not. So the other people who used to come to the temple would laugh at this man. He said, this man is an illiterate, but he's still reading Bhagavad Gita and wasting time. So they would laugh at him and he would joke him and all that. But this man, this Brahmana, whenever he would open Bhagavad Gita and he would read, tears would come to his eyes. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu once went to this temple and he saw this Brahmana who was holding Bhagavad Gita and he had tears in his eyes. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very inquisitive. He wanted to ask, he went and asked this Brahmana that I know you, people say that you are illiterate, you don't know how to read. So this Brahmana said, yes, they are correct. I don't know how to read, but I'm still reading because my Guru has ordered me to do this. My Guru has told me every day I must come to the temple, read Bhagavad Gita. So I'm doing that. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, that is very nice that you are following the order of your Guru. But I see that you are having tears in your eyes. Why is that? Are you crying because all these other people are, joking about you? He said, no. Whenever I open Bhagavad Gita and whenever I think about, Krishna, the Supreme Lord, the cause of all causes, has become a taxi driver or a chariot driver of his devotee Arjun. So whenever I think of this, tears come to my eyes, that how the Supreme Lord, who is so great, has taken such a humble position for the pleasure of his devotee. When I think about this, my heart fills with devotion and I have tears in my eyes. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately embraced him. He said, your understanding of Bhagavad Gita is perfect. You are actually a scholar of Bhagavad Gita. Whereas all these other people who are laughing at you, they really don't know what Bhagavad Gita is. So what is the point here? The point is, when there is devotion, then one will be able to understand Bhagavad Gita. So the spirit of Bhagavad Gita is one should understand Bhagavad Gita in devotion. So South Indian Brahmana attained perfection in reading Bhagavad Gita. Then make a choice, you want Krishna or his energies. So this is just a related point. Most of the time people want Krishna's energies, they don't want Krishna. They want Krishna's opulence, they don't want Krishna. Is it not? They want Lakshmi, but they don't want Lord. So the choice is, who do you want? Do you want his energies or do you want him? A person who wants Krishna will be able to understand Bhagavad Gita because that's his words. But a person who is not interested in Krishna and he wants other things, will he be able to understand Bhagavad Gita? So in Mahabharata there is an incident where So Duryodhan and Arjun, they went to Krishna because they knew Krishna is a powerful person and we want his support. Arjun and so both of them thought, Arjun and Duryodhan knew that whoever side Krishna takes, if Krishna is able to give his help, then we have a very great chance of winning the war. So they both went to Dwarka to meet Krishna to ask his help. So when they went, Krishna was lying on the bed. Now Duryodhan, when he went, he just went next to the head of Krishna, and Arjun went and stood at the feet of Krishna. Now Krishna, when he woke up, if you're sleeping like this, when he opened his eyes, immediately his eyes went to Arjun first. So he inquired from Duryodhan and Arjun, and he said, he was very happy to have both of them. And then he asked, what is the purpose of your visit here? So they both said, Krishna, we need your help. Both parties are there. They said, we need your help. So Krishna said, okay, I am not going to participate in the war. He said, okay, one of you can have me and the other person can have my army, Narayani Sena. So Duryodhan was like, okay, give me a chance to ask. But Krishna said, Arjun is younger to you. And it is an etiquette that younger should be given the chance first to ask. So Krishna asked Arjun, what do you want? Do you want me or do you want my army? Arjun said, Krishna, I just want you. So Duryodhan was so happy. He said, wow, Arjun is such a foolish person. He asked for Krishna. Now I can easily ask for Krishna's Narayani Sena and I will definitely win the war. So Krishna said, okay, Duryodhan, you can have my army. Arjun just wants me, so I'm going to be with Arjun. But I'm not going to take any weapons. So after that, Duryodhan left. And Krishna asked Arjun, you're so foolish. Why did you ask me? You could have asked my Sena. I'm just one. My Sena is so many thousands of people you would have had. Arjun said, no. I said, I know, my dear Lord, wherever you are, that's where the victory is. And even if I lose the war, I don't care. I want you. I want to be with you. For me, kingdom or no kingdom, it doesn't matter. I just want to be with you. So Arjuna was so pleased, Krishna was pleased because, Arjun is Krishna's friend and devotee. So this is devotion, where a person doesn't want anything else but God. And if you give me millions and millions of dollars and say that you can have all this but no Krishna, a devotee will say, to hell with all this money. I don't want. I just want God. So when such a devotion is there, then one can easily understand Bhagavad Gita. And this is the spirit of understanding Bhagavad Gita. To understand Bhagavad Gita, one has to become a devotee of Lord Krishna. Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita, Bhaktya mam abhijanati. This knowledge can only be understood by my devotee. Otherwise, this is a secret book. It's an open book, but the message is secret. Only those who are devotees. Bhaktosi me sakha cheti rahasyami etad uttamam. This rahasya can only be unfolded by those who are my friend and my devotee. And that's why when Krishna was speaking Bhagavad Gita, everybody was hearing. Arjuna understood in 30 minutes, everybody else heard. Even Duryodhana heard Bhagavad Gita, even Dhritarashtra heard Bhagavad Gita. Did they understand? No. Even after hearing Bhagavad Gita, and in the 11th chapter, Krishna says, all these warriors are already put to death by my arrangement. He showed his Virat Roop. Still Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra are not understanding that we are going to lose this war. We must stop. Dhritarashtra must have said, stop this war immediately. But no. So, because their devotion is lacking, they could not understand what Bhagavad Gita is. So this is the spirit of Bhagavad Gita. To understand Bhagavad Gita, one must become a devotee of the Lord. Then Bhagavad Gita will be very easy to understand. So, okay, maybe we may not have devotion now. So should we stop hearing Bhagavad Gita? What is the solution then? By hearing Bhagavad Gita, devotion will evoke in our heart. So we should keep hearing, keep chanting. By hearing Bhagavad Gita, by hearing about Krishna, love for Krishna will automatically develop in our heart. Because it is already there. It is not that it is something artificial. Every living entity loves the Supreme Lord. Unfortunately, conditioned souls in this world have forgotten that relationship. And it needs to be reawakened. So through the scriptures, through Krishna Katha, through chanting, that same relationship that we have will be reawakened, re-established. So by hearing Bhagavad Gita like this, devotion will develop. And the more devotion develops, the more we will understand Bhagavad Gita. That's why we keep reading and discussing, and more and more and more layers and layers of realizations will come from Bhagavad Gita. So this is how one understands Bhagavad Gita, not just by scholarly knowing all the 700 slokas and being able to recite the slokas. So devotion to Krishna is the criteria. And all this what we are doing here is not to become scholars or be able to give good class or be able to recite slokas. It is only to cultivate our devotion for the Lord. Simple. And that is why it is called Krishna consciousness. To develop consciousness of the Lord Krishna. So with that I'll end here. Thank you very much. Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yeah, so you had question, Palash, you had your hand. What was it about? You got the answer. That's why I say we'll have questions at the end. Okay. What was the question otherwise?
Which one would be stronger, Krishna or energy?
Krishna or energy? Krishna, yes, definitely Krishna. See, Ravana wanted Sita without Ram. What happened to him? He's destroyed. Hanuman, what did he want? Only Ram. And so he has become glorious. Arjun only wanted Krishna. So, when you choose Krishna, there is no question of defeat. There is no question of going wrong. That's why Sanjaya makes this very famous statement at the end of Bhagavad Gita, that wherever there is Krishna and where there is Arjuna, there will always be great morality, victory, success. So thank you very much. I hope it was a useful topic to discuss.